Football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around to talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some updates and some comments to talk about today, so let's jump straight into the video. Starting off, we are talking about Micah Parsons again. He's been in the news a whole lot, and he's given me some stuff to talk about. Starting with his injury that is not been faked. Micah Parsons' back injury continues to linger following the trade to Green Bay. Parsons is dealing with an L4, L5 facet joint sprain. NFL insider Ian Rappaport reported, according to the sources informed by the situation, the Packers star pass rusher may be able to play week 1 against the Detroit Lions, but by taking an epidural. But right now it is up in the air of whether or not he will start week 1. Parsons passed a physical, though, to complete last week's blockbuster trade from Dallas to Green Bay and participated in practice Monday. Both the Cowboys noted that orthopedic spine surgeon Dr. Robert Watkins confirmed the diagnosis, and Parsons will continue physical therapy in Green Bay. During his hold in Dallas, Parsons cited a back issue that kept him out of practice, and while a lot of people thought this was completely overstated because he wanted to get traded, it seems that it wasn't completely fabricated after all. He is still dealing with some back problems, but now he's signed a $47 million deal contract with the Packers, and Parsons is likely to do everything he can do to get back on the field against their division rivals, which is us. So what do we do if he does play? First of all, I think he's going to play. I think they're going to give him something before the game, and he's going to play through some discomfort because it's not a thing where he's just totally out. He can still play if he wants to, and I have a feeling he will, especially in a season opener against the division rival that's projected to win. I think he's absolutely going to play. I don't see him missing this game unless it is something where he can't stand up straight. Micah Parsons is a tough player, and we've seen what he can do, and I think this is just going to be one of those things where he has to play through some discomfort. If he does end up playing, it's going to have to be a lot on the O-line here to keep him out, but the way we use our tight ends, and we have 2 blocking tight ends, I'd say we do a good job at keeping him outside the pocket for the most part, but he's Micah Parsons, and anything can happen. So this is obviously going to be a thing that we talk about before the start of week 1 against the Lions, against the Packers, whichever side you're on there. But keep this in mind, guys. Even if he does play, there's a good chance he is going to be playing with discomfort, and that's going to give us a little bit of an upper hand too. We're going to be able to tough him a little bit, out-muscle him a little bit, and that can definitely give us the upper hand. If he doesn't play, I think we're fine. I think, honestly, the Packers don't scare me that much. I think we should be fine. But if he does play, and I have a feeling he will, we are going to have to be on that. This could make the games between the Packers very, very, very close. I think his big thing is going to be turnovers, creating turnovers for them. And as we know, turnovers for the Lions shift momentum so poorly, it might be bad news bears for us if that happens, period. So, again, and I want to preface by saying, not preface because we've already talked about it, but I just wanted to say, I don't hope anyone's injured. I'm not hoping for injuries against us. I'm not hoping for anyone to be hurt against us. I'm just stating the fact that him being out would definitely give us a upper hand because we know right now that overall our team is better. So just saying. That's what I have on that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he is going to play? Do you think they're going to keep him out? I don't see them keeping him out. I think this is going to be a huge momentum-based game for the Packers, and they're going to have him go. But let me know what you guys think about this one. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. That's going to take us into our second topic, where we are shifting from defense to offense and QB3 for the Detroit Lions. So this is one I've talked about a little bit. It's kind of odd we don't have a QB3 right now, or somebody with those proven stats like the Lions usually like to go for. And it's a surprise that in this 53-man roster and 16-man practice squad, we don't have a third quarterback. After 2023 third-round pick Hendon Hooker failed to really make the roster or make any splashes for us, he got signed to the practice squad for the Panthers, and there's nobody behind Jared Goff or Kyle Allen. Detroit has kept 3 quarterbacks every year under general manager Brad Holmes, and the team has expressed their belief in the importance of a third quarterback by even submitting a rule making it easier for teams to access an emergency quarterback in a game day situation. Holmes joined the team reporter Danny Rogers last week and said that the team is indeed on the hunt for a third quarterback after initial efforts were squashed with Hooker. So it is happening, and we are looking for a guy. So it's not one of those situations where we're just going to see what happens, right? Brad Holmes said, "I thought we had another plan in place that didn't happen. It fell through. So that's why you've just got to keep things close to the vest because you never know until it happens." Holmes also said, "But we are still working through that actively. Oh, it could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. We will add another quarterback. So he, by what he says, expect to see another quarterback on the roster this year. Someone older, someone proven. We know that's what they usually like to go for. They have a clear preference toward veteran quarterbacks capable of running an NFL offense over a developmental type. Here are some free agents that might be a good idea to go for. We got some prototype guys here. Nate Sudfeld, he's been with us before. I think he could absolutely go in and run the system, but I don't think he's going to make a splash. Tim Boyle, same thing with him. And then we have non-former Lions like John Wolford, Goff's former teammate at Wake Forest. He finished with 9,914 total offensive yards and 78 total touchdowns, earning second team All ACC honors as a senior and setting multiple school records as well in the process. In the NFL, Wolford has had limited time, let's be honest, mainly as a backup, but he has 118 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns as his career as of 2024. But in this preseason, he is 29 and is given him potential to go out and make kind of that last ditch effort to stay relevant, right? Maybe he's an option. Who knows? Dan Campbell also had some stuff to say about this. He said, we're looking for somebody that if we need them, we know they can run the show. They can run the offense, they can process the information, and maybe it's not obtainable right now, but we need to start looking for that guy, right? Like some of these guys, obviously it's not going to be the solution to our problems if Goff goes down, but it is a good idea to start looking for the people that the Lions usually like to roll with, that kind of guy. Another thing to start looking at, and this might not be as on the high priority as some of you guys think, but possibly looking for a quarterback in this next draft. Now, I'm not saying we use the first or even second pick, but third, fourth, maybe we just search for a guy who's still around who we can kind of develop. I don't know. We've had it. There's a lot of back and forth on whether the Lions passing or quarterback coach is actually doing a good job at developing. He's been good with Goff. He's been good getting him fitted here, but we saw he couldn't really do much with Hendon Hooker. I don't know if that's because of Hooker's injury or his coaching, but maybe it's time to start looking for a quarterback, guys. Honestly, it's too early right now to say who we should go for. I think as we see this college football season develop, we will know who is going to be high picked, who is going to be good, but just not there. And I think those need to be the guys we look for. The guys who could absolutely do it, who were great in their season, but had just enough mistakes, just enough errors to fall through the cracks and not be one of those top pick quarterback guys that a team wants running their offense right now. And that's where we go and grab him, let him sit under Goff for a few years. When Goff's contract's up, who knows what we do, and maybe that's the time to slide that guy in for a play. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do we even start considering looking for quarterbacks in the draft right now, or are there more pressing positions to look for? I think either or there's a good argument on both sides, but I think it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to find a guy kind of like we did with Hendon Hooker, later pick, who we just were like, let's take a chance on him. And that didn't work out, but it doesn't say that another guy couldn't work in our offense. Let me know what you guys think. I am curious to hear your opinions on this one. Good arguments on both sides. I think definitely any possibilities are possible right now. So let me know what you think. We're going to go into our third topic where we are talking about a Ben Johnson comment about the Detroit Lions. So the Chicago Bears and the Lions won't see each other once, but twice this year. As we know, we are in the same division, and they may even see each other in the postseason depending on how both teams perform. Speaking with Danny Parkins of the Fox Sports show First Things First on Monday, August 25th, Ben Johnson was asked about the tush-push play. From there, Parkins asked about Johnson's Week 2 game against Detroit and questioned whether he would bring out any special plays just for the Lions as kind of a revenge kind of deal. Ben Johnson responded with just quote unquote maybe. Johnson replied with a smile, though, and the smile says it all, guys. He has some deep plans for us, or at least it seems like that. From the Bears' perspective, it would be thrilling for Ben Johnson to go there and then beat his old team. That would be really good for the Bears. That would not be good for me and most of you guys watching, though. Johnson also talked about some of the trick plays that he used for the Lions, and if he's going to use them with the Bears. One that he said he's run 4 or 5 times with the Lions against Buffalo in the preseason and resulted as a touchdown. There's possibilities that comes out. Campbell has also been talking about the rivalry between the Bears and the Lions. Speaking with WXYZ sports director Brad Gailey, Campbell said that he will treat the games the same as he would any other team with Ben Johnson going, quote unquote, out for blood. Campbell also said that he and Johnson are still friends. He said that the two saw each other a few times in the offseason, but didn't say in what context. And then finally, Campbell said, quote, I want to beat them. We want to beat them. I'm sure they want to beat us. But no, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We're out for blood. So Ben Johnson's been kind of throwing shots at our team. We've had some players throw shots back at him. It's been kind of this whole dramatic off-season thing leading up to this first home game against the Bears at Ford Field. And it kind of seems like tensions are getting high right now, and this is going to be a very important game. One, it's our first home game. So that's setting the tone for the rest of the games throughout the year with us. And then two, it's against Ben Johnson. So if we lose our first home game against the guy everyone's saying we're nothing without, that would be a kick in the motivation gears there. That would be really bad for us. And not saying that it would derail our whole season, but it would definitely shake things up for a couple of weeks. Maybe some guys lose some confidence, maybe morale's low. Who knows? That is the big thing that worries me, is that scenario. We lose to Green Bay, it sucks. We don't like Green Bay. But if we lose first home game against this guy that the news has been constantly saying we need, that would be a kick to the fans, to the players, and to the staff. But do the Bears pose a genuine threat? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think Caleb Williams obviously looked better in the preseason, but it's the preseason, right? You can't make solid gambles off the preseason. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. I think with a play caller like Ben Johnson, we will see more productive passing game with them. But to say that they're gonna come out and just shut us down, despite them having a good defense, is a little ridiculous. Unless they're gonna have one of these comeback of the year type seasons where they're just a completely different team. You can't even recognize the players by how well they're playing. I think it's definitely going to be tough for them to make that kind of a statement in a first home game while they're at Detroit, and we know the kind of atmospheres Detroit has for games. Just saying, let me know what you guys think. Is this getting more chippy? What do we want to see in these few weeks leading up to it? Who's going to be the real standouts in this game? And if we do lose, what does that mean for the rest of the season? And what does that mean about Ben Johnson leaving us and how well we can perform without him? Let me know what you guys think. We're going to move into our fourth and final topic. Speaking of comments on the Lions, let's talk about some of your comments on my videos. So the first one we have is Virgili Man. I think that's how you pronounce that. Said, in my honest opinion, Zadarius Smith will be back week 4. The Lions are just waiting to sign him after game 1 to save money. Yeah, I totally see this being a possibility. I think that's kind of the thought right now, since we haven't grabbed him, is we're just waiting to get a better deal with him, knowing that he isn't really going anywhere right now that I know of. So this definitely is a good take here. I think that's definitely what the Lions are cooking up. At least I hope so, because I still, in my opinion, think we need a guy like Zadarius Smith to help out on that rotation. Thank you so much for your comment, Virgili, man. I do appreciate it. Next, we have Superman, longtime commenter, said, I think Micah will see some double teams with an extra tight end when we play the Packers, so I'm not too concerned. Cowboys were near the bottom in the league in defense with Parsons on the field. Besides, Aiden Campbell has the best possibility to be defensive MVP for the Lions this year. Not too worried about Allen being the backup. He's won some games in the league, and if any starter goes down, they will be on the same boat. It's rare to see any team have a great backup quarterback. Great show today. Well, thank you, Superman. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm thinking the same thing here, right? If any position goes down, it is going to be tough, because having a backup to go against a guy like St. Brown, Gibbs' backup's Montgomery, but you know what I'm saying. Like, when we have star players like that, usually the backups it's going to be a far drop off in productivity, obviously. And the thing with Micah Parsons, I totally agree. I think the way we run our offense with our tight ends, and the smart offensive line play, Micah Parsons is definitely going to see some double teams, and I think that's going to keep us out of the woods for the most part. But you also have to consider that he's just a playmaker. He makes plays happen despite the odds, and I am worried that is going to come out at the worst possible time, and he's going to get like a strip sack, and it's going to completely turn the game around. I think for the most part, though, I agree with you. I'm not too concerned, but you always have to be a little concerned with a player like Micah Parsons, especially when he plays for the Packers, and there's that already added anger and hype going into a game. Just saying. Thank you so much for your comment, Superman. And then finally, American Cash said, Tesla recorded a 40-inch vert in high school, so add that to his red zone equation. All right, American Cash. I love this comment. Just wanted to throw this in here. That gets me hyped. That gets me fired up. Just that package of what kind of player he can be. Throw him in the red zone. I think he's just going to be a red zone demon this year, to be completely honest with you guys. Leave all the open field stuff to St. Brown and J-Mo, but once you get into that red zone, just let it fly. Throw it up to him. 9 times out of 10, he's going to come down with it. That's what he's shown us so far, and I have nothing else to worry about because he's shown us that. So that is it for today. We have run out of time. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, tell me what you think about the Bears. What kind of situation will that put us in if we do lose in that first round, or do you think it won't bother us at all? And what's your opinion on the QB3 right now? Who's the guy you'd like to come in and see play for us who's a free agent right now? Or do we just go and wait for the college draft to or for the next draft to happen where we grab a guy? Let me know what you guys think. I love seeing all your comments. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the bell so you never miss a single video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.